Hello, my name is Ray Salazar, and this is Morning Rio, a 2 to 3 or 4 to 100 minute or so podcast of films that I review, all ages, all kinds of ethnicities, all kinds of colors, black or white, translucent, technicolor, all kinds of countries, anything from Five Nights at Freddy's to Citizen Kane. Here I am reviewing it. This is the month of November. Hello, November. And if you follow me or whatnot and keep up with this podcast, I talk about how November is dysfunctional family month, right? People get together. It's supposed to be merry and cheery. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it starts out that way and ends up being something dramatically different. It becomes quite the opposite. Here I'm reviewing Before Midnight. It is a 2013 American romantic drama film directed by Richard Linklater, who co-wrote the screenplay with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. It is the third sequel to the quote-unquote Before Trilogy, where the first film is called Before Sunrise, came out in 95. The second film came out in 2004, titled Before Sunset. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy still plays the same characters. Obviously, we follow them through time and in real time, become older, a bit wiser, a bit more paranoid. But when you look at the film, you can see that they're still full of life because they're still fighting, they're still discussing, they're still taking everything to heart, and it's almost personal. And I've mentioned before that Before Sunset, to me, is the best film of the trilogy. And not only is it the best film to me, like personally speaking, it's probably the perfect film as far as like romantic drama films, especially American romantic drama films. As far as like romantic drama films, especially American romantic drama films. This film follows up Jesse and Céline as they're now parents of two twin girls, and they have a summer vacation in Greece, but it's also more like a business vacation of sorts. But we don't focus on the business. We don't focus on, oh my God, they're in Greece. No. The Greece is just the backdrop. It's just the template. It's about two people connecting, disconnecting. It's all long takes too, for the most part, which is very impressive still. And we're following them, and we're just sitting back and looking at them just talk more about life. But it gets pretty hardcore because, and even like the first act to the second to the third is just written so well, man. Like, you gotta give it to Richard Linklater. You gotta give it to Kim Krizan too, because she had so much to do with this film. Produced by Richard Linklater and Christos V. Konstantakopoulos, quite a name, and Sarah Woodhatch. Cinematography by Christos V. Editor by Sandra Adair. Music by Graham Reynolds. Production companies Castle Rock Entertainment, Virgin Fourth, and Detour Film Production. Distributed by Sony Pictures Classic. Now, very simple plot of this film. We come to the airport where Jesse escorts his son to the basically to the gate because his son he's got to go home. As we all know, Jesse is divorced. I mean, he's remarried, but he has an ex-wife. He has a kid with that ex-wife, and that's him. He can't stay for the whole summer vacay. He has to go back. It just eats up Jesse's character a lot because here you are, you see a boy, obviously 10, 8, 11, I don't know, man. And like, you can already tell that this kid is living a life of his own. Like, he seems like a very independent child, very independent minded. And Jesse hates that. Not that he hates his kid, but he hates the fact that he's missed all these years, all this time, and how he sees his son now. It sucks that he couldn't like be there for him to develop the person that who he is currently. And he feels like the world's falling apart when it's really not, because the kid still has so much to live for. And that's like one of the things that this film really tackles on. It's just like, just because like you're 50 or 40 or 20, you still have more. It's not the end of the world. Every generation sees it like it, but it's really not. And there's another scene where Jesse and Céline, they're in the car. They talk about the issue with Jesse's son, And not only do they talk about that, there's another scene where he meets up with like these folks who are from like place in Greece, right? And they're all very like simple folk, not like stupid, but like they live a simple life, as it seems. They live a simple life, but this family and Jesse's family, author who invited the family to come over basically to write and all that stuff, they still have not the same issues, but they can talk about these issues. And it's funny how they can connect because they're talking about it. Like when it comes to love, romantic love, when it comes to children, how long can you really spend with a person, right? Like, let's just be real. Like, you talk about these marriages that last like 70 years, 50 years, but like, was it really an easy 50, an easy 70, or was it hard? Was there breakups in between? Was there separations even though they were still married? Stuff like that. And for some people, that's a big fucking deal. It plays a huge role in our lives. It's a part of our lives, really. And in that conversation during that dinner scene, they really go there. And we get perspectives from a couple who doesn't have children, a couple who has children, a couple who's no longer a couple, a person who's widowed, a person who still is able to remember their dead late husband, but is now actually starting to forget the memories, starting to forget certain things. And for some of us, that's scary as fuck. But for some, it's like, it's a part of life. It's a part of me, and I'm just going to live through it, And not only that, they talked about AI, which is crazy, right? Because Jesse's a writer. He's a novelist. Like, he's actually published works, and people bought it. People know about him. He does all these book tours and all that stuff. People know who the fuck he is. And one person asked, like, what's going to happen when technology catches up to the point where it can start doing things on its own, and to the fact where it's conscious enough to even write literature or make up literature, make up stories, And that's crazy because this film came out in 2013. And here we are now in 2023 where this AI stuff, even though it's like sort of like, I guess, to our consumeristic, level-headed, thinking, it's in like in its baby stages still, right? It like we have ChatGPT, which is a very powerful AI tool, but as powerful as it is, it has not been here for too long. And imagine how powerful it is already. Imagine like in the next 5 to 10, how drastically smart this machine or this app or software is gonna become. Like, it's fucking scary. And they talk about all this shit without mentioning the word AI, without mentioning the word artificial intelligence. Like, they talk about it, and it's so cool how like one person thinks it's scary, and then the other person's like, man, bullcrap. Like, yeah, sure, they may write more than us, or it may be able to write, but I can write too. So fuck it. Let bring it on, dude. Bring it the fuck on. I love how this film touches like things like that, and I love how like this film like really just goes deep on the lives of Céline and Jesse, where they're in their 40s, man. They're parents, and they're still trying to get to know each other and push all these kinds of things onto each other, and some are more right than wrong from the other person to another. They both have, like paradoxical issues. They both have existential issues, questions of life. Like, we can say, and we can also see that these people they don't want to let life kick their ass, man. Like, as afraid and as powerless as they can be, like life is kicking their ass, and they would love to like just stay on top of themselves to try to kick life back, and Celine's character is really like that. Like, when you see her character now in the film, she's just so hardcore. She's very opinionated. She is compassionate. She's very logical, but sometimes very overwhelming. And it's crazy because like in some certain scenes where she will challenge Jesse, like she'll ask him like, oh, what happened in August 2009? I'm like, dude, like who the fuck's going to remember something like in that year independently, thinking like you need something to remind yourself of that thing. And you need something very significant too. It can't just be like something random like, oh yeah, I bought this shirt in 2009. Is it going to help me ignite a memory? Probably not. Unless it's like a very, very cool ass fucking t-shirt and shit. I know certain t-shirts that When I look at it, I'm like, I know when I got it. I know what happened, blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, Jesse can be very overwhelming as well, very emotional, sometimes too emotional, like, but it's just things that, like, I guess when you look at these characters, you see them going through these emotions for the first time. Yeah, they fight, they bicker about all this same stuff, but like, to really try to connect and go through it, to actually have a night alone, to pretty much throw all this shit together, and at the same time, I think this film was meant for that. I think like this was the moment that they've both been sort of been preparing for, really. Like they've been preparing for, like, to be just alone. And you know what? If we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight. They don't know what the fuck was gonna happen that night alone. But boom, there it is. Before midnight, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna throw it down. They're gonna let it all out because Jesse wants to go back to the States to be closer to his son. But Celine's like, fuck no, dude. Like, really? Like, I already, like, I gave birth to 2 kids. I work, I clean, I help with the kids. I work, I clean, I help with the kids almost every fucking day. Like, I need something for myself. Like, I took care of the kids while you were in this book tour and all this crap, leaving me alone, leaving me sort of powerless. A mom can go through all that stuff, especially alone. Like, that sucks. Like, she's not going to sacrifice no more. She's already been sacrificing enough. Can we sacrifice more equally? And to our surprise, yes, it could be more equally. And they try to figure that out. They're just trying to figure themselves out. This film was great. Like, I was going to give it 3.5 out of 4 tokes, but honestly, watching this film again this morning, like, really, and I've seen this film a couple of times too. I've seen it like maybe 3 to 4 times, but like this 4th time, I will say, it just really got to me this time. It just really cemented how caring these people are. They talk about all these things because they fucking care. If they didn't fucking care, they wouldn't fight. They wouldn't have these big old discussions. They fight because, fuck it, man. Like, that's just the way they operate. Especially if you want to move forward. Is it hilarious? Yeah, there are moments of hilariousness. But there are very strong, serious moments. It's just a movie about life. It doesn't alienate nobody, in fact, it's supposed to bring people together in some weird, fucked up way, because there's and I'm gonna close it with this. There's a scene in this film where they discuss how, and they're in the hotel room, they discuss how, like, when like you're playing around and then it becomes so serious and then becomes like, hey, we're not playing no more, we're actually fighting. And little kids, they fucking fight all the time for all kinds of shit, right? But the fact that they fight, she loves that these kids are not completely hopeless at all. That these kids have a spark, and because of that spark, they can fucking do whatever the fuck they want. My name is Ray Salazar. Follow me on Morning Shot Films IG and YouTube. Check out my website, morningshotfilms.co. That's where I put the podcast, Morning Real. Official morningreel@gmail.com. Send me your requests, suggestions, comments. Please let me know, man. I really love connecting. I love film. Love talking about film, obviously. Before midnight, obviously, a 4 out of 4 tokes. Thank you.